I'm gonna have Miss Joanne come up here. She would like to share a story with you. So, welcome on stage, Joanne.
Hi, I'm Joanne, and
Close.
yes.
Sorry. Okay.
I started coming to when Richard was here. If you just heard him talk, I started coming to Poor Richard's when he opened, and when he started talking, I realized I was like almost living my life and some of the values I had because of this place. In 1977, it was Poor Richard's Feed and Read, and it was the coolest restaurant in Colorado Springs then. It was just so cool. And I went to Colorado College where Richard went to school, and he was older than me, and I think he'd already graduated by the time he had opened the restaurant. And I think you guys probably know he opened it up with an inheritance that he was given from his family. He'll have to tell you. But anyway, our friends from Colorado College, we'd walk down here, and we'd come in here, and wherever you sat down, you hear somebody talking, and you could turn around and join a discussion about whatever. And it was just the coolest thing ever. When I graduated from CC in 1978, I moved to California and met my husband, and we actually came back to Colorado Springs to spend our honeymoon. And the first place I wanted to take my husband to was Poor Richard's. And we didn't have a lot of money then. I was only 22 when we got married. And so that was 1979, and I thought every time we come to Colorado Springs, we came about once a year, we would have to go to Poor Richard's. That was it. If we didn't go to Poor Richard's, it wasn't a complete vacation. And finally, in 1991, at the same time Focus on the Family came, we moved back to Colorado Springs because we knew it was home. And there were no jobs here then. You could open up the want ads and you could read them in 30 seconds. And my husband and I were just desperate for jobs, and Focus on the Family had just come. And so he didn't get hired, but we knew how to pretend. I'm not kidding you. We knew how to pretend and talk evangelical talk, and just to get hired. And I got hired at their office was right here just right here. It was on Cascade, right where Boulder crosses. And I just hated my job. I just hated it, but I had to have a job. And every single day at lunchtime, I would come to Poor Richard's to eat, because I knew nobody from Focus on the Family would eat here. Okay? And I had a name tag that said Focus on the Family. I would put it in a pocket so that nobody that came in Poor Richard's could see me with this name tag. And my husband and I were just trying to find. We moved back. By the time we moved back here in 1991, we had lived in San Francisco. And we loved living in San Francisco. And so Poor Richard seemed like the only sane place we could ever go to do anything. And as time went on, Richard talked about that gay pride parade that only had 100 people. My husband and I were there. We weren't in the parade, but there was this festival at Acacia Park. And I remember we felt like we're in a sane. Poor Richard's was the only place from young people from San Francisco who had very liberal values we could go to. And then I kind of watched Richard, as the years passed, I read about the restaurant, and there was an article in the paper that anybody that needed to work for food, he would let them come in and work for food. He was an advocate. He was like the poor man's advocate. If something was wrong in this city, he was willing to step out of anybody's comfort zone and fix it. Tonight I talked to him. I've been coming to Poor Richard since 1977. He didn't know my name by name that I was Joanne. But what happened was we had 3 children, and they were the most active kids in the world. And nowhere in Colorado Springs could I take them to eat. There was an Indian restaurant downtown, and my son's sitting right here. He was like not even 2. And the owner actually said to me, "You're disturbing the clients." And I wrote the Independent editorial about what had happened, and instead of getting support, I started getting hate mail. This is way before email. And this was the only place I could take my 3 little active kids to eat, and 2 of them are sitting right there, you know. And anyway, so they grew up eating at Poor Richard's. But also, I kind of feel like it really changed their life. By the way, I quit Focus and Family as soon as I had him. He was my first one. I just couldn't stand the job. It was just horrible. But anyway, we started coming here when he was a baby, and you know, as he became wilder and wilder, you know, Richard had this play area in back, and I actually went up to him one day and I said, "Thank you. The only other choice I have to eat at is McDonald's." You know, and I said, "You must have kids." And he goes, "No, I just love kids." And I can't even tell you what that did for me as a parent of the 3 active kids. But anyway, we just kept coming and coming and coming, and the kids pretty much grew up coming to Poor Richard's. They saw the bookstore. There was the toy store over here. I had to take a break from coming because they wanted to come to this toy store so much. You know, I remember this area we're in right now there was a movie theater, you know, and there were just amazing movies and discussions, and I was really sorry when that was gone. But anyway, tonight when we got the email that said, you know, what Richard was doing tonight, I just knew I had to be here. And I knew I had to bring my 2 kids that were home for Thanksgiving. And Richard actually said to me tonight, "Thank you for coming for 30 years. And I go, "It's way longer." And so I also wanted to let you know that I think that Poor Richard's had an impact on what my children in this city, that was such a conservative city in those days, helped them figure out who they could be as adults and what they should think of as adults. And I'm sorry Richard's probably he's probably in the kitchen cooking or something. But anyway, I think we should give him a big applause, because I don't know how many